my music should not be playing. Muli mutya baba. Lero tugenda kwogera ku weight loss program. Ne muli wa kamba ngumike muko katono tulabo oba mujja. Kangumike muko katono. Good evening. Maria, good evening. Antonio, Random Things VIP. Oh, Antonio, President, what for the love of Kazi People's Party? President to be abiri mokaga. Nakate Christine, my number is in the description of the channel. Yes. Good evening, my people. Seneko Starch, good evening. Kahwa Francis, Rashid Jagenda, Morad K Momo VIP. Abai kiraika lero baba ningenda muleka avuge nga nkoye ero ntuse muleka mvuga antwali wakoba na ntusa sawa meka yamanyi ntuso muleka mvugi naye simanyi budde sawa mekaze tunatuuka kubabwe muleka avuga mpola abanga atayina jalaga naye nga ate mbutuufu bannange nyina omwami gwe nyina akatabo ke wano twagula naye mmotoka and he left his book in my car. And I have not been able to send it to him. I have to send it to him. But how are you, my people? Starch. Kolabo, Nani. Juliet, no, you're not late at all. Michael Chris Muwonge, good evening. Bukenya Shafiq. Nampija Juliet. Abachara babo bazere. Romugarasi Joshua Mix Farm, good evening. Abachara babo, tuinao Nakate Christine. Tuinao Nampija Juliet. Chemanya bumbade timbalabanga kona ye babo we bali mukulu soko jetu nyemyemu mujukiro omusajja yayinanga ebigambo ebiyita wali lero broadcast ya lero nimukogera ku weight loss oba ezo munamulaba mukulu ali wano omwami wa kabaka musaza lyawa lya busiro esaza lya busiro ono omwami wa kabaka bakamutuuza bakamutuuza ku bwami bamwe omuyise kajubi Patrick Rio Portrait Farm pade chechiriwo wali wano olwaleero naye enaku zine ebigamba ina bitonengeje bamutuuza ku bwami bwa kabaka era kati abagula ettaka mu Namayumba
Namayumba Kivule.
Namayumba Kivule.
Soka kuyitako mu office yange.
Asoka kati Namayumba Kivule akavalinga party kinaki. Okavalinga party kinaki.
I just like Kivule LC1 yonna.
Kivule na Kivule eri
under me.
Kansokenzi je ogundi eno dash kamu yange eno omusajja musobolo mulaba bulungi. Naye uyadduka kale babuuzeeko ogende. Babuuzeeko ogende.
Banayi mwasibye mutya.
Abagenda ogula ettaka wana.
Abagenda ogula ettaka Ekivule Namayumba. Nze mwami wakaba nze gw'osooka okulaba. Then olaba chairman ne tuteekako omukono ne verify.
Oli ya percentage ki?
Njanga chairman sebo.
10%.
Naye ndimuweereza. Ndimuweereza.
Nenga yo percentage oyino jjirya.
Percentage mbali no jjirya.
Mwagula ettaka lya milioni 4 nyazizo. Wako chairman.
Ati tuba mu unison ne chairman.
Chairman gwa mugabirako. Kale tutadde. Kale guys tugende maaso fene broadcast yaffe. Muwavuge mama abanera atuso okunvuga gema. Wegombolera agenze emirimu gimutwala. Athanze ndi mukadde siri mpya anna ejuli yeto badde obula nnyo kale ati buli bwobula nnyo bukoma otukubalanga eyakajja. Anyway guys togere ku weight loss program gwe buli weight loss program gwe gyomanyi katandi ko giri stinga buli weight loss program Honda njitadde mbiti ate ebadde ki Honda ebadde ki pade Honda yafe yali etandise okutambula bulungi. Honda ebadde kisoko tunyumize. Ate simanyo ba Nicholas wali yali badde atunyumiza Mazda Demio kuba ye yali na Mazda Demio ne mukolako emikolo. Honda yakoze eki bannange pade. Honda yafe no yali etambudde. So buli yabadde ko ne moroka ne mukolako emikolo jangoji tugambe. Nze emoroka yasoko okunkolako emikolo yali nnyongeza. Mumanyo butawuni eso bu pick up obutono obwo eyo enyongeza eyo yankolako emikolo enyongeza n'emikolo yange empesa okulabako mwe enyongeza eyo yankolako emikolo like you would drive that kayongeza from home go to wherever you're going come back and that thing would refuse to start. You bring all mechanics and they fail to start it, then tomorrow you come and it starts on its own. I sold it on the road. Zinyongeza najitunda kukuwa milioni emu ate emitwalo 10 nenjo wa breakdown kitegeza nafuna emitwalo 9. I had a friend of mine yali amanja yaka sente nitugabana na atwala kana mu 5 nentwala kana mu 5 enyongeza ntujita mbitibwa. So for me akayongeza it doesn't matter how you come and tell me new model bichi akakayongeza is not a car for anyone to buy. I think the biggest problem is that those Buyongezas, the engines are very weak. They are Daihatsus. They're in the same category as the Daihatsu Duet, the Daihatsu Terios, and Kami. Those cars are the same. They all have the same problems. It doesn't matter how much love you show those cars, they will break down. In 2015, Duet yali mazeo, I left it with the mechanic at Apollo till now. And by the way, guys, if you ever have a car and it gives you a lot of trouble, you can sell it for scrap. It will get you a minimum of 2 million. So now Rashid was also gonna do it, you know, yat isi bajiteme. And there are people that have big lands, like in the village you have like an acre of land. If a car disturbs you, just carry it on a car carrier, take it to the farm, ojiteka awo ojifulenge ekyokuuzanyisa ky'abaana ebeereyo, as in don't leave your cars in the garages. Neweru kutawanya kwenkana ki gitwala tisebere ku farm tomanyo yinza okwagala eyo maaso okujja okoleyo nga recreation center. You have those cars there. Duet yakola ki Rashid? Tubulire emboze gweyo. Tell us the entire story. What did the Duet actually do to you? Nze nyongezeyo, I think the next car that literally made you guys know the Dudu. My first Dudu, the trouble it gave me was wiring. Like I was in Entebbe. I hit humps in Entebbe and the car went off. And I spent the next 3 days on the road. Until the third day when I decided to take it to that guy, Gamba called Joffrey in Masanafu. And the guy was with the car for like 2 hours and I went away. Yaina just kawaya kamukali kabuzizo omuliro. Naye nembonyabonye ennaku 3. Simanya leta computer, simanya leta distributor, simanya bichi. And I think shortly after that I sold it because It did not give me more trouble after that. But then when I sold it, I had built, I ran out of money, so I needed to sell it and buy a cheaper car. So I sold it and got a Chibina. Then after the Chibina, I think then I upgraded again to another Dudu, which was much more luxurious, open roof and all those things. And then that one still, it gave me a bit of wiring issues. But then the biggest problem with that second Dudu was the engine trouble. Now, the engine would not have been a very troublesome thing. But before I bought that car, the person that sold it to the bond, the Chibanda where I bought it, had trouble. They put diesel in front instead of petrol. And that's where the trouble came. And that's how we sold the car to the Chibanda where I bought it. So whatever troubles I had with the engine were already there, but I did not know. That's why you need to, and I saw that car the day I bought. You guys need to get very honest people to do pre-purchase inspection for you. Before I bought that Dudu, on the day we buy it, we went to that Chibanda. The car refused to start, and they said simanya puraga, simanya bichi. Finally, they made it start. Now, when they made it start, the mechanic that I took to inspect actually told me, "Atha tewali guze moto keyo." But then another mechanic came and he told me, and he started it. I drove it. 3 days later, we were having trouble with the car, cylinder head and all that. Finally, we almost fixed it, and then I drove it for a very long time. And then I think the engine blew. They told me there was no oil. I'm sure there was oil. I kept checking the dipstick. There was oil. And then after the engine troubles, that's when I sold the car. Good evening, Helen Tongo. Hello, Arthur. Is the Mitsubishi Outlander also a weight loss program? Yes. Now, majority of Mitsubishis are weight loss programs, not because they are bad cars, but because the mechanics haven't yet mastered how to deal with their technology. And also the spares are quite expensive. So you'll get troubles with the Mitsubishis, not because they are bad cars, but because of our environment, yeah? Per day, I'm a steering rack suspension. I have spent 150k today. They have told me the thing which supports the rack is worn out. After spending that amount, Kativi Impedeko, go labi Uganda wange. Honda, go labi. Katibaga, what are the solutions they are giving you? And guys, they are cars that you should actually avoid, not because they are bad cars, but because our environment doesn't actually support them. Which it's brakes 200,000. Nze lero mbateka brakes kwenye moroka nkoze brakes ninteka msa bushes. I think I worked on the brakes. I put bushes. I put new brakes in front. Ezema pega zibade nungi bandegedemu ku handbrake just. Ntadeko brakes ninteka mu bushes as a main. Ninyiga mu ku Z. That's all I did today because mbade nyina ke mpuda mze moroka yange sagada mu kakona yadde. So that's why I worked on those things. And yeah, that's it I think. Ngolabye pade. Nayenga guys, emoroka ine weri kutawanya kwenkana ki. Never leave your car in the garage. Never oligitunda spare teva musende zikawansi wa million 2. Okitegera kebere mbietia. So when someone is buying your car that is moving ajigule million 2, musekerere. Emoroka, as long as the car is still moving, don't sell it anything less than 2.5. Kebere mbietia. Arthur njagala gwe abangulire emoroka. That's why I need your number. My number is in the description, Christine. Good evening, Abby. So guys, at least as long as we are talking about weight loss program, iranda kole nsobyo tunenyongeza yange million em. Ebisere binalisi manyi tesobola vamu million ebbiri nga njitemi amabati. Ate singa nali manyi nali gikoze mu ka restaurant because you can literally put a body on that thing and create a restaurant out of it. Can a newer SI last on dusty? Yes, it can. All cars can last on dusty roads. All you have to, and by the way guys, as we are speaking about that, all cars can become weight loss programs if all cars can become weight loss programs if all cars can become weight loss programs if you don't do the right service. For example, you go to do service and you don't change the air cleaner. Bine bintu abasajja aba petrol station yabagamba mbu tugifuwemu. Don't blow in air cleaners as long as you have these new cars. Buy a new air cleaner. It might be expensive, but the good thing with the cars that we are driving right now, you can put oil that goes up to 10,000 kilometers. So never blow in an air cleaner. Always buy a new air cleaner. Then echirala, make sure they change your oil filter ngolaba bagikyuse ngolaba ebintu byebikubya yinginize moroka zino. Then echirala, I've been telling you guys, when you buy a CVT car, don't change gearbox oil unless if you have a leakage, and even then make sure you buy the CVT oil for that car. But chiba chisoboka, make sure you know which CVT should go in your car and go to Toyota Uganda. if you're driving a Toyota. Go to Motokea if you're driving a Nissan. Go to Kampala Motors if you're driving a Subaru. Yeah, Mitsubishi's Baragawa. Baino Naboje Baraga. Go to your dealer. Aggressivity oil from the original. Tokkiriza mechanic agenda kugulira. Because let me tell you one thing about mechanics. Okujja konga ekintu tomanyi gye kiri. But waliwo ebintu ebimu gearbox z'emmotoka zaffe za bbeeyi kati million 4 gearbox zineza CVT. Kati you can imagine something that is 4 million go okukireko omuntu akitegeerere. Engines are cheaper than gearboxes. You get? So whenever they are servicing your gearbox, tell them to show you what gearbox oil is supposed to go in your car. Ogende mu Toyota Uganda, ate ne Toyota nayo obawe chassis number. Bakubulire ntono gearbox oil yagenda mu gearbox yo. Then omugulo gyo mutekemu. Ebyo chobola ba people are complaining wishes empya zifanyo gearbox, sienta zifanyo gearbox. It's simply because the mechanics get creative. They want to get creative with your car. And I don't blame them. Ochegera nabo bagala kulya ka sente kati yo CVT akukanga nakugamba tujikole service ayi najitekamu oil omubi. Makanika angamba I sell it as it is or they buy a new one. Nayenga in the market it's not available. We can call someone in Kenya. Chokandi munaku makanika has told me a Honda is like omukazi. Every car is like omukazi, but it's just like Hondas. Those cars that are not Toyotas. Zimenya. Nengo olabye muganda wange. Instead enyo Shafik Yuji ogambo otya. Man. So guys, whenever you can avoid buying a car that is not a Toyota, please. Jireke. Whenever you can avoid. Kale bobanga ovudde nnyo ku Toyota genda gula Subaru because the Subaru zezo nungi. Ate ne Subaru bobanga you're not like a speed merchant, avoid Subarus that don't have avoid Subarus that have turbos. Literally, if you can avoid cars that have turbos, avoid them. So, if you drive in a dusty area, bobanga tunakola service like every 1 month, blow in your air cleaner. Epewe ye nchafu ye dugaza yingini. Because any car can become a weight loss program. But there are cars that are real weight loss programs. Because one, their spares are very expensive. Baba de wajikorako bulungi naye mama. Nchitegeera. Soko mugamba buzo omusajja we Kenya steering rack eyo bagigutunda mmeka. Because kati kusane zota demo Honda esaawa eno okugitunda nga bweri bwebogitunda nga bweri bagula mmeka. I was on one of your videos and I overheard you comparing fuel consumption of a Noah Valvematic with a Harrier 2.4. Can you talk about fuel consumption? Antikakati. I know someone that drives a Harrier 2.4 that has said it goes up to 13 kilometers. Then I know people that will tell you it doesn't go beyond 10 kilometers. Between 6 and 8. I know between 6 and 8 is the realistic thing. But the Noah Valvematic goes up to 13. But most people drive it 8 to 10 still. Yeah, so there are cars that are real weight loss programs because Zozifa, for example, Mercedes-Benz, Mazda, Volkswagen, BMWs, is a motor zifa gearbox. Zifa nyo gearbox. Nadala if you service it from a place with a person that doesn't know what to do. Is a motor zifa nyo gearbox. Now the cars that I've seen, literally buli motor buli Benz jenvuze eko. Omuntu amanyi Benz bwa ajivugamu. Agamba gearbox info. That's the one thing I can tell you. So if you're going to buy a Mercedes-Benz, make sure you do pre-purchase inspection the right way. Or abenti gearbox. Rakubanti gearboxes olumu eba sinfu nga yetaga service. Abantu amutemanyi kola service. The thing with Golf 4, which is Golf 3 is a monoka. Zifanyo, as a matter of fact, nze nasigaranga ngamba. There might be a time when I want to actually get a Mercedes-Benz. But if I ever get a Mercedes-Benz, I want it to be manual. Why? It not only saves fuel, but I also then know that I'm not going to get troubles with the gearbox dying. Which is again. Arthur, can I service my Rumion? Can you? Where can I? Your mechanic can do service for the engine. You can go to a petrol station. Make sure you put the right oil. Like with these new cars, you put Bajita 5W30, 5W40. That's the oil you should put there. It goes up to 10k kilometers. Yeah. Equal 10,000 kilometers or your 5W30, 5W40. What an unfortunate accent you have. Hey, broccoli, who are you? My weight loss program car was a Toyota Progress. Members, avoid that car if you can. Emoroka yankola ke mikolo mingi gearbox manyi matono ngeringa je basala amafuta. At least I drive a scooter than a Progress. And I know people that are praising the Progress in Tefa. But bagigula 2.5 right now naye kati byampeddeko kati I don't know what to do amazima simanyi kya kwa advising padde nange wendi because ekintu ekiri ku mmoroka eyo Honda yo nti buli kintu ekigenda okufa kya bbeeyi ate kati ku myaka gyerimu eyo emmoroka egenda kusigala efa tegenda kulekera awo egenda kusigala efa ate jjukira emmoroka eyo wagigula ekole ku faamu kati ku faamu enguudo zayo si nnungi si gwagivuga tomanya abagivuga oba be bagitta okitegeera Semwanga Richard, it depends on what you want. Because a person that wants the impreza wants the impreza. Then a person that wants the IST normally wants the IST. Which take it. So I find that it depends on what your preferences are. No, Stuart Maxwell. Maso wano waliwo Mercedes Benz. Muzitegeddeko ezo zi email. Bwaba nateeka mu giya soka nateeka mu Newton ali nnyo omuliro nga mungi n'amaana ateeka reverse n'eryoka egenda eyo giya nfu ogira ezo Benz bwe zibeera asooka gipika n'agiteeka mu reverse n'eryoka epasuka ezo Benz zifa nnyo gear box Raford abodo kali kati Raford zina pitagali Arthur, can you please compare for me Spatio? That's a bad comparison, Maxwell. Abantu abagala Spatio abasiyenta bagigula because it's affordable. That's the thing that I've seen about people that buy Sientas. So anyway, weight loss mbagame moroka za Europe ezisinga zifa gearbox. Kebere Ford. And why do they get faulty gearboxes? Because those cars kati zozo yasoko kufa gearbox because ba mechanic batetenkanya. Kanafe engeri gye tuvuga kati CVT naffe CVT zaffe ba mechanic batandise okuzita kuba tebakola ki tebazitegeera. But literally that's the reason why the Mercedes Benzes, the Volks of this world, the BMWs, the Fords, that's why their gearboxes were dying. But majority of the time, a model cars in a weight loss program, not because the car should be a weight loss program, but because our mechanics have either intentionally or non-intentionally decided to not learn. Okitegeera nti otwala emmoroka ewa makanika nga yeetaaga kukyusa koyiro n'akugisako silinda head bw'agizaako ne bagisala bubi ne bagizaako emmoroka n'etandika okunywa amafuta kugamba ne weesanga emmoroka ekutamye naye ng'ekintu kyalibadde kyangu nnyo. Arthur, my rumor in 2009 is UBR, they should not change the gearbox oil. No, they should not. They should not. Bagyesonyiwe emmoroka givuge. Vuga buvuzi. Tokyusa oil. Emmoroka waliwo omumotoka obwo, and I talk about these cars very a lot. Omumotoka buli mu engine ya Raum, I think gye bayita 4E. Omumotoka buli mu engine ya Raum 4E bufa nnyo because the engine is weak. Bo comparing ku body kyobula ekintu kyezemba gamba ku motoka zino ezirimu buyingini bwa 2SZ. Bagamba yo engine 300. 2SZ ebeera mu Paso, 2SZ ebeera mu Vitz ezimu. Ochegera bagamba 300. But I've told you time and again, if you're going to buy 1.3 car, 1.3 liter car in Toyota, gulanga erimu 2NZ. 2SZ ne 1SZ 1000. But ezo bu SZ engine yokayoka gye twalabye egezaako okubeera reliable 3SZ ebeera mu Paso City because it's a 1.5 liter. Emala amalako. But 1SZ 2SZ wingi n'obwo bunafu. Pozi KR buli okay. But waliwo yingine ezo 2SZ Vitz zonna zenda bezirimu 2SZ etuuka n'ekoowa. Paso zenda bezirimu 2SZ. Wano mu ntandikwa bw'obawaka bwakatandika okubeera n'okukaba n'amaanyi naye katuuka ne kanafuwa. So kyekiri mu yingine gye bayita 4E. Ebeera mu Kosa, ebeera mu Raum, ebeera mu Starlet, ebeera mu Corolla 2, ebeera mu Starlet obu GT. Nti ojja okusangira omuntu n'akugamba nze nnyina Starlet teyantawaanya nga teriimu 4E. N'osanga olinga erimu 4E ng'emutamye ng'emufukidde weight loss program. Okitegeera. So kati ekyo beera ng'okola ki? Beera ng'okimanyi. Then I find that ekintu ekirala ekifuula emmoroka ezo weight loss program, wiring, poor wiring. Wiring abantu gwe bakolanga mubi. Ne bamukolera ddala bubi. For example, osanga emmoroka ng'erimu fuse nga baagizingako obuwaya. That's something that disturbed me with my Corolla for a very long time. nti fuse bali baziteka ko wire. Now fuse bojiteka ko wire, a fuse is meant to break the circuit. If there is like a short circuit or something has gone wrong, the fuse is meant to break the circuit. Now bojiteka ko wire, it doesn't break the circuit because of wire babugumu. And that's literally what happens with cars that have wire. Nti etuuka nga te breaking a circuit neyo cha wire esobola okwocha wire from the engine neyo cha paka mu computer olumu neyo cha ne computer. Okitegeera kati musobola onoonya obulwadde ne babula naye nga the fuse gye bateekako akawaya yereta problems. Okitegeera, let me catch my breath. Waliwo omuntu ansiize essenyiga olwaleero nga tubadde mu rehearsal eyo waggulu. Kati let me catch my breath. Omuntu ansiize essenyiga bambi. Isaac Mwesigwa, there is no golf with return on investment. Ekyobera ngo okimanyi. Bwoba ogula golf, jigule for comfort, jigule for bachita passion, ojinyumirwe, neto down olowooza nti golf is going to give you return on investment. You will just lose. Loss on investment. That's all you're going to get. After which press to start car is good, all push to start cars are good. Guys, like the broadcast. You're 31 will have only 12 likes. Like the broadcast. BMW 3 Series, I don't know so much about them, but I would not buy a BMW. Zenga Arthur, I would not. Why? Because I'm not rich. It's people that have a lot of income that should be buying BMWs, generally all European cars. It's people that have a high net worth, that have a very, very like huge revenue or a substantial income, monthly income, that should be buying BMWs. Golf 5, I don't want to tell you that it's a bad car. It's definitely a good car. So many people are buying them, they are driving them, but they're not reliable. And majority of the time you're going to be losing money with those cars. And I don't know how much it is because we have not bought it. I would not recommend you buy it. As a matter of fact, their cars I don't really want to inspect. Golfs, because I don't want to help you make a wrong decision. And I happen to know that if you buy a Volkswagen, you're making a wrong decision. I'll tell you that instead of buying a Volkswagen, you'd rather buy a Mercedes-Benz. They are literally almost close, but the Mercedes-Benz is much more reliable than a Volkswagen. So, one way more is the weight loss program, but not because they die, but simply because you may not be able to afford the fuel consumption. Like there is a Subaru Outback. Mujimanyeyo. Waliwo Subaru Outback, waliwo Legacy. Those are some of the cars that people buy when they're still renting in town. Mbeera Munyonyo koda mu kibuga wakati Munyonyo kibuga olumu mbeera Munyonyo, I have a business in Munyonyo or Kansanga. Like literally you don't even feel the fuel consumption. Mbeera Najjera nkolera Ntinda, okigira mbeera Kiranyi n'ekiduuka Ntinda. You will not feel the fuel consumption. Mbeera Ntinda nkolera mu kibuga. You won't feel the fuel consumption when you're still renting because opangisa jam takusanga odaye wakawo oyagalide because kumpi then nozimba mu kyalonga atabwe yakola. Bwogende eyo mbyalo emmoroka ezimu olaba omuntu abeera eyo mu kyalo ffe gye tubeera ng'avuga Sienta n'agamba emmoroka enywa. Can just imagine getting a car that has an engine which is 2.5 liters. Emmoroka ezo ebiseera ebisinga abantu bagenda mu mayumba gaabwe gayaza busiika wa kasaba yingira amayumba gaabwe. They sell those cars. Not because they don't have money, but because those financials don't make sense. You can imagine driving a car. Chitegeza in 10 days you'll be using 800k. Chitegeza omwezi okwesa 2.4. Kati bwoba okwesa 2.4 nga amazima okole million nnyo omwezi. Kiba tekimaking a sense. Kebeere ngeri comfortable etya. Okitegeera. Hassan, I can't lie to you. Negwe manya nti market siza bei nnyo mu bondi. Osobola okusanga the premium version nga bajute million nga 3.5 awe watyo. What could be the price of a Mark X premium? Kyekyo ndooza nkuzeemu. The Mini Cooper doesn't consume a lot of fuel because they're engine internal. The issue with Mini Coopers and why you don't see them spread out into Nyingi is a thing to do with their maintenance. The maintenance is quite high and the reliability is low. Those are BMWs now. Which take it. The maintenance is quite high, the reliability is really low. And it's a passion car. Which take it. After there is a Mazda at our village. A Musei in our village selling a Chivina 4.5. Last I'm comparing to buy it. Cause Honda bigger anye. Cartel Chibina is way to go cause you've ever Chibina taina buzibu. Atoba, let me tell you one thing. Chibina tojipapiranga. Chibina jigule jivuge ngabweri. Uchitegera jivuge ngabweri. Okola chijigana kutambula. Arthur, which alternative can you suggest for a Golf? Mercedes Benz. Buy a Mercedes Benz. As a matter of fact, guys, I've seen people last with BMWs longer than the Volkswagens. Abantu abera ne Golf ezo babate bazivuga gwiboda ba makagu nga balude ne Golf gwebegenderize baba ne moroke nyawo ewaka Golf bajivuga lumunna lumatebera ku kyala otebagitwala wala ukisegeera. But Mercedes Benz osanga omuntu navuga Mercedes Benz n'agenda mu kyalo n'agenda wana instead of Golf buy Mercedes Benz ukitegeera. C200 has no problem, Isaac. Yes, you'd rather buy a C200. So anyway, what when Moroka Mbagambe Terios Kami duet Nissans banange Nissans are weight loss programs, and for them nze chendalabi chisingo kutawanye Moroka ezo masanyaraze because they try to advance their technology. What were Moroka zino wazita Nissan Advance fanana Fielder is a Moroka zitawanya nyo masanyazi ga gearbox to the extent that ogeno okutuka nga nayo bagamba teka mu gearbox ndala kyekimu kyekiri ku Nissan bu Terios Kami duet nti kasobola okufa ne kafa olina akugamba teka mu yingi ne gearbox ne computer bipya nga kaganye okitegeera nga kaganidde ddala. Then waliwo ezo zipajero ezo nazo Mitsubishi nagambye dda waliwo kipajero ekirabika obulungi bayita Pajero Exida Antoni ateeka okuba akimanyi. Emoroka ezo zirimu version engine ezibera mu turbo, and now like I said, if you can avoid cars that have turbo engines, avoid them. But there is a waliwo Exida erimu engine gye bayita si ya turbo bagiyita batya 5D bagiyita batya 4D bagiyita batya 4D abasajja bamakanika bajoogera nnyo 4D56 I think. Engine ebera ordinary naye ebera tedduka tefa naye tedduka buli muntu akuyisa no wavitiza asobola okuyisa naye yo tefa kachuvula izo Pajero Exceed eziwangadde Antonio gwagala ovuge Moroka ezitategerekeka. Pajero zora bezisinga eziwangadde zirimu eyo engine ordinary tefa naye ebera teyina maanyi kale eba n'amaanyi naye tedduka ebera ne torque naye nga teyina horsepower. Naye ng'ogivuga kyovula babazeeyi bazivuga ezo zipajero zaabwe Exceed n'awangala naye emyaka 20 nga tagitunda tefa ne batuuka n'okuguza Pajero nga bagambye gwe tolaba Pajero ya muzeeyi gundi okitegeera. And then waliwo zino Moroka zi Nuwa old model. You guys want the Nuwas ate mwagala nnyo Nuwa ya 4-wheel naye Nuwa ya 4-wheel bamakanika bagenze bangamba eyina suspension plate ekya 4-wheel kifa. And if you're going to buy the entire suspension plate, it's about 1.7 million shillings. Naye nga ate abantu bangi muntu kyagenda okugula suspension plate ya $1,700,000 batono nnyo. So if someone is not going to buy a suspension plate of 1.7 million shillings, kitegeeza agenda kwagala okukivugirayo bagenda kukiyiiya mu kukiyiiya bakyokyamu omuliro ne bateekateekamu ebintu ntwawo naye era tetereera so teddamu kuwoomera. The guys that have sat in newer old models that are 4-wheel drives, I'm sure you have realized that Moroka ezo zibeera zikubagana sikyera. Pajero bitama zo zitawanya gundi bagiyita bata pressure pump zi GDI zitawanya nnyo pressure pump ate pressure pump bagiseera okitegeera ya beeyi nnyo. Then waliwo buno Land Rover bu Freelander obona busumbwa engine zaabo buzifa nnyo. Waliwo Pajero Mini katono nnyo bwe kati, so it would be attractive to a woman and guys that are starting the very small Pajeros naye nabo bufa engine because the engines are very weak okitegeera. I have a Fielder 2007 model and want to upgrade in a hiker. I'm considering new 2013 model. Yeah, just buy. Ati kakati Fielder 1.5 liter bwogula nu ogenda gula nu ya 3ZR eyo egenda kubenywamu kokusinga kwenu kitegeeze ne motoka yebadde kwa 15 kilometers nu egenda kuwa 10 oba 11 biranga you ready okitegera. Paul Sema VIP, good evening. Sewanyana Everest, good evening. Isaac Mwesuga nakubuuzizaako. Edwin Mugerwa nakubuuzizaako. Ismail Mutacha lugamba otya. We saw one time a Mini Cooper, okay? Brian Wanyama, good evening. So anyway guys, but olaweze motoka zentera okwogera ku weight loss programs. Raum old model etambula ne kosa negenda bukorola tu kasemo ko kisanga erimu engine bayita 4E era wo ogenda gula Raum old model babuze engine cherimu okitegera bwebera 4E gireke. But literally all these cars can become weight loss programs. Nadala ngojiwadde service embi, ngojiwadde oil omubi, ngojiwadde mechanic omubi, ajja kujitta. I'm fine. Aden, how are you? Travel live vlog, how are you? Chiyemba nsubira okukanika bits oba paso, thanks. Chichi chiyemba tewali eze motoka nno bwogigulanga namatoloza efaaki vitsi nze nakavuga vitsi ssatu zina kyezifa waliwo n'omulala yakagula vitsi yalina Raum new model naye bwe yakwata ku vitsi Raum yatunze. Editunes kyekiriwo maani obula nnyo lwaki obula nnyo bwotyo. So basically literally I've seen people that have Ipsams ntunula Ipsam wano waliwo Ipsam nali ndabeko omuntu nalemererwa Ipsam nemulema mujjukira Ipsam gye nagula $3 najigula $3 ne gaina musasule $2.2 najigulira mu bafu nga ye mutamye ba mechanic ebalemye okitegeera. Other SAFs are also in the list. SAFu makanika yagikulemesa. I'm going to tell you their cars. Olabe motoka za diesel zisinga makanika yagikulemesa naddala nga eri ordinary nga teriko tabo makanika yagikulemesa. Neza tabo zennyini naye ya tabo gwennyini oyinza ojettira kyobola batabo zedda bazitekangako time n'abaana basubalu kati batekako time because tabo ebiseera ebisinga si yejoveri nozikiza buzikiza olina ogireka neesooka neewola okitegeera. Hyundai, Kia such as motoka za bitongole. If you're working somewhere and they buy it for you, Belta 1 liter gireke. Only buy a Belta if it has a 1NZ engine or bigger. Don't buy a Belta. The Belta is too big for the 1 liter engine. Mchitegeera ononya sente nchitegeera Editunes. Kariejiri Amos Luke, good evening. Viola Namiro, good evening. I hope you guys are doing well. Bana imuzikize ngenda basibula mangu senyiga tandi bulungi tubadde muri hase yo mwana yasimula atusize senyiga fenna kati ndozera mu mpuja mwenjogera kangene nguleje nafu Musema Saddam oli otya. So weight loss program, every car can become a weight loss program like I told you, but there are cars I've told you to avoid. Like now, pade abakonfirm nze nabagamba Honda mujesonyiwe. Nabagamba the Golf Volkswagens muzesonyiwe. You'd rather buy Mercedes Benz. Gobrolengo yagala fuka mujama na tisigula Benz. Nene Benz wali agenda okufukira weight loss program oba toli mugaggange jakuli ekutame nga namu nenga bule ekizo kazo ogenda okugula oba service yakayo ogenda okukola nga ya bay. Bwobanga oli mutandisi osobola okugulayo ka compressor ngaako awo muweesobolera okitegeera mubwesobolera. BMWs nengera ne Benz nazo zifa gearbox lwakuba tezifa nnyo gearbox nga Golf bwezikola ki bwezifa. Let me see which other cars. Nissan nabagamba Nissan muzireke. Mitsubishis, whenever you can avoid any Mitsubishi, please avoid them. What about Nissan X-Trail? You guys love buying Nissan X-Trails because it's an SUV and then it's cheaper compared to the Toyota SUVs. We say that toja kusanganga Kruger katugambe Vanguard bajitule milioni 4.5 mu body nayo sange X-Trail nga bajituna 3.8 kalogenda okwesanga you saving a lot of money bugula X-Trail ne mugenda ne mugula X-Trail zibakola ke emikolo okitegeera. Cold Cup akola Eden ngenda munonya nenga siri bulungi banange ngenda basi after before you go. What of Suzuki Swift? Suzuki's are now literally Toyotas, but then it depends on which model you're buying. What Suzuki is also dala is also sinyonyonyo. The Suzuki is now they are Toyotas. Kat Suzuki aba Toyota Uganda baleta spare wa Suzuki plugs bichi so you can literally get these original things. They can even order for you. Nissan fuga ololumbe guys kamba siwuda bulungi nakatono aye nali simanyi ntisenyiga asobola okuyisa obubi bwati. Habat tusime Eddie Kwikiriza Maria Antonio Random Things VIP Nakate Christine Rashid Jagenda Kahwa Francis Nsereko Starch Morad K Momo VIP Bukenya Shafik Nampija Juliet Michael Chris Muwonge Nsereko Starch Mugalasi Joshua Mix Farm Pade Patrick Yo Poultry Farm Patrick Pade nze kankutele mwe sala ojja kiguka nebwe ebe ya sende nyingi tojiddamu kiriza bukiriza okite Jones Info Rashid Jagenda Antongo Helen Dr. E Eddie Kim Bukenya Abi Yawe Ismail Edwin Mugerwa Shafik UG Jerina Nansamba Broccoli sorry Kwikiriza Maria Lusiba Eddie Jerina Nansamba Madden Kumaze Brian Wanyama Mwesigwa Isaac Usama Hassan Ismail Mutachala Sewanyana Everest Paul Sema VIP Aiden Travel Live Vlog Kill Films Eddie Tunes Kariejire Amos Luke Viola Namiro Sewanyana Everest Nkumaze Bana imula Thermostat Nicholas Joel Pijot Jireke nalinda beko muntu Pijot gwe bana emoroka ezo nazo zora banga teziri komoni kukuba wali wenzo okuja ngo jigula milioni ngemu Amina Nampija Mama Aban will be like you hear did you get cold flu era muwavuge banange era ngena muwavuge vuge mutulabe bwatayo ne moroka yange Amina Nsereko Starch ngenda babulungi just senyi gatampisiza bulungi bana imuzikirize mbasibule. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Amina Joel, may God bless you.